Snapchat Q&A time. Right, so, whatever, it's about fucking 12 hours later than I expected to be uploading this. But you're still getting it, aren't you? There's fucking loads to go through, so there's no ado needed. Let's get straight into the mixer. Jack Melville, first on the list there. First one up. What time's kick off tonight? No idea what he was on about. Oh, that was Wednesday he sent that. Fucking I'll scratch that one. Here we go, Thursday ones. Are the FTD lot going to the Community Shield game on Sunday from Essex 99? Yes, we are. Well, me and Gaz are, anyway. Abraham, first manager to be sacked. Do you know what? Wow, what happened to the lighting then? First manager to be sacked. No idea. Conte was my my guess, but that obviously massively depends on how the season's going to go down, doesn't it? I actually went through, me and my mate went through, was it? Well, I think it was me and my mate Ben. You might have seen him on a few of the videos. He was at Bellator with me and stuff like that. We went through the whole league and we was like, United aren't going to sack Pep. Obviously not going to sack Pep. United aren't going to sack Jose. City aren't going to sack Pep. Wenger can't get sacked. Ranieri could come bottom and I don't think Leicester would sack him. Pochettino, the project, all that lot's going on there, probably not going to get sacked. Bilic probably not going to get sacked. And then they're loving with Liverpool and Klopp. He's not getting sacked. Who's the only guy that's likely to get sacked? And obviously it depends on results. If he's top of the league, he's not getting sacked. But Abramovich loves to sack his managers, doesn't he? So I think, apart from one of the ones coming up, Middlesbrough might be a good shout. They might be thinking they're too big for their boots. Maybe get a new manager. But apart from that, for the big ones, Conte. Fucking dad called me in the middle of doing it. Just for the pure fact that Abramovich loves to sack his managers, I think that's the one that's likely to be the problem, I think. So, good question though. Hell of a job picking that this year, I reckon. The CW says, what's up with that I'm staying at Juve video? What else can he say in the street when people ask him? He's not going to be giving the inner details of a £100 million transfer away in the middle of a street, is he? Don't worry about it. Will Arsenal sign Lacazette? It's the sort of player that they should be signing, isn't it? I mean, Arsenal are not a fucking small club. I think they're scared by the figures that are getting thrown around by everybody. But you know what? They make the most on the season tickets. Their matchday revenue beats anybody else's because of the ridiculous cost of their season tickets and stuff like that and their hospitalities. They obviously get the same sort of TV money, well, better than most of the league. They get top half TV revenue. They always get decent competition prize money because they usually get quite far in all the competitions. There's no fucking reason whatsoever now. The excuse why they wouldn't spend was always the stadium. That shit paid off a long time ago now, surely. Don't know what's going on with Arsenal. They should be able to sign that sort of player, but they don't, do they? Can you give me a game on FIFA? Yes, mate, you can give me a game on FIFA. Waiting for the new game, though. I'm not going to do any FIFA content. Probably not going to do any FIFA content. I'll give myself a back door out there if I need to. Until the new game's out. But yes, once that's sorted, same username and everything, Mr. Stephen Howson. Adam O'Callaghan says, who do you think are the top 3 players in the youth academy at the moment? It depends what you define in the youth academy, doesn't it? Because I still consider Rashford, Fosu Mensah as academy players. If we're saying those that are fringe first team players, then it's Joe Riley, it's Fosu Mensah, and it's probably Rashford. If we're saying those outside of those who've made their debut, then I'm going to say Tuanzebe, Angel, and outside of that, there's a few that we need to work on a little bit. Been impressed with Eddie Barlow, been impressed with obviously Roshan and Terrell Warren. They're now in the under 21 squad at 17, which is amazing. I've spoken about them at length, but I'm trying to think of just some of the. I'm looking at the 18s really. From the 18 side, you're looking at Angel, potentially Eddie Barlow. You're looking at possibly. I'm hearing good things about Chong, but I'm not going to be. I ain't the kind of guy that's going to tell you about a player unless I've seen him with my own 2 eyes. So Leo Connor, Chong, Burkhardt, Bowie. These lads that we've signed, I'm hearing good things. I'm not going to talk about them until I see them with my own 2 eyes, because that's the difference. Watching highlights of them on MUTV, not about that. I like to watch them with my own eyes, then I'll give an opinion on them. So just be patient. I will get to a game in the very near future when they're having one. They're away at a tournament tomorrow, I think, in the Netherlands. We'll find out how the team's looking and what sort of 11 they're going to start with playing. But until I see them with my own two eyes, I won't be talking about them. Brooklyn McCook 8 with a photo says, favourite most exciting signing of the summer so far? Mkhitaryan so far looks fantastic. Zlatan's exciting for different reasons. I think Mkhitaryan's got more longevity to him. Really impressed with his play so far, so I am looking forward to how he can continue. Matt AVFC 1874 is a Villa fan. I think it's a video.
Do you play any other games than FIFA and Football Manager?
Yes, I play UFC 2, and that's pretty much it. I don't have any more time in my life to play anything else. So they're literally the two games that I play. FIFA, Footy Manager, and UFC 2. Hope that answers your question. Anthony. Oh wow, there's a load of questions. Oh, there was last week's. This one's a photo. Do you think it was right to keep Carrick and let go of Bastian? As that's kind of what seems is going to be happening, doesn't it? They're very similar players in a lot of ways, aren't they? I think Bastian's a bit more vocal, a bit more obvious in his leadership than Carrick. I think Carrick's probably a fantastic leadership. Been at the club a decade now. Probably got a lot of benefits to having Carrick around in the changing room. And if he's decided it's between the two of them, I think you go with the English one that's been there 10 years over the German one that's been there only 12 months. So, yeah, maybe it is the right decision. I don't like the way Bastian's being treated, though. I think we don't have enough leaders in our squad. I think the more leaders we had, like I've said it loads of times, you're not getting a transfer fee for him, so what's the harm in just having him around? He's not going to be demanding to play every game, and I'm sure he can offer a lot more than just what he can do on the pitch. Brad Duff 100 says, do you think we'll be challengers for the title this season? If Paul Pogba comes in, I make us favourites for the title. Jack Clark, favourite TV series? That's a good question. Do you know what was awesome? Spartacus. Fucking hell, how good was Spartacus? Andy Whitfield, I think he's called. I think the guy's name was. The actor who passed away in the middle of the film. He got Hodgkin's lymphoma, I think. And then they had to film around him, so they did a prequel. The original series, the way it went like 1, then prequel, then 2, then 3. I think it ended on 3. And they did that. So he was hoping he was going to recover, and then they could carry on filming the rest of the season. They didn't. They had to replace him. He sadly passed away. Fucking brilliant series though, and it doesn't even ruin the series actually by the guy that comes in and replaces him. There is a difference, but it doesn't ruin it. It's still, the guy who came in wasn't as good, but it's still fantastic. If you've not seen it, go check it out. The blood's a little bit comic book in it. It's a bit over the top, but what a fucking series. Honestly, Joe, I might even rewatch that. Apart from that, Prison Break when it came out, or when I first heard of it, I think it was 2006. I was in Afghanistan and we was doing 24 on, 24 off. And instead of just chilling out and getting head down on the 22 off or 24 off, we watched all 22 hour-long episodes of Prison Break back to back. That's how much my section got into it, and it was fucked the next day. But yeah, I got into Prison Break pretty hard. From what I hear, Prison Break was meant to be in a one and done series, and it was that popular. They was like, shit, write a second series, and then it ended up being a third series and a fourth series, and that really did peter out. That was, you could tell that they was like, now let him break out of a prison in Panama. Come on, son. He had all that he didn't even use all the tattoos that he had in the first one, did it? If you've not seen that either, that's a cracking show. Really intelligent show. Mint. Apart from that, I watch a lot of Family Guy and a lot of South Park. Fucking love South Park. South Park is literally my sense of humour. I fucking love South Park. And that's it, really. I don't watch a lot of television. I watch a lot of Netflix, watch a lot of documentaries, but don't watch a lot of TV at all. I don't have time to watch TV. The only thing I watch on TV is I literally throw Family Guy and South Park on late at night, and I watch sport all day, and that is it. In fact, Joe, what? Fuck it. Throw it in the comments below. Let's get some discussion going. What is your favourite series? And is there any TV series I should watch? Like, a lot of people are going to say Breaking Bad. I haven't seen The Sopranos because I'll lose my life. I will get so fucking obsessed with them. I will go so deep watching that sort of shit that I'll disappear for 3 weeks. You won't get a video up on here because I'll be fucking thinking I'm a New Jersey gangster. So I can't do that sort of shit. Stephen, who do we need at right back? And if so, do we need a right back? And if so, who? No, I'm prepared to give Darmin another season. I see things in Darmin that I like. Going forward, he ain't got it. Let's not play games. He can be a defensive fullback, and we can attack asymmetrically with the left side. I'm happy with that. As long as he's got cover from who's in front of him, I think Darby will do a great job. Beyond that, Joe Riley was training with the first team today. Watch out for Joe Riley. A lot of you think he's a left back because he made his debut at left back. He's a fucking right back. He's right-footed. Played right back or right mid his entire career. Just can play on the left because he's versatile and fucking mental. So look out for Joe Riley. Connor Love 31 says, at the moment we have a very young squad with Shaw, Rashford, Tony Marshall and more to come through the youth system. How far do you think this squad can go? E.g. Champions League, dominate England and or Europe. Back in 2002, the lad I was talking about earlier, Ben, from my best mate, we used to work in a pizza shop in Ashton. And then once I joined the army, he stayed working there for a couple of years. I kept in the habit of, like, I'd go and chill with him on a Saturday night, on a weekend when I came home and stuff like that. And we'd end up till 3-4 in the morning. You know what it is, just bullshitting and talking. And I distinctly remember being sat outside his house in my old Renault Clio, talking about the United squad. And it was not long after we'd signed Rooney. And I was going, mate, just listen to this. And I think Wes Brown was one of the players that we was buzzing off. I was like, fucking Wes Brown, Ronaldo, Rooney, Rio was young. Can't remember who else was going on about. Might have been Tim Howard, might have been Kieran Richardson, whoever. But we was talking about, look at the potential in this squad. Now, it wasn't those players specifically, all of those players that carried us to the Champions League 5 years later. But the likes of Rooney and Ronaldo were not world-class players at that time. They was exciting players. And I see shades of those players in Marshall, in Memphis, in Rashford, definitely in Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw's easily going to be a world-class fullback. David De Gea, we've got the best keeper in the world. We've got decent talent coming up that could definitely make a difference. If we sign Paul Pogba, he'll be 23, he'll be only 28, he'll be in his prime in 5 years' time. If I said Champions League in 5 years' time, depends on what's going to happen with the manager, doesn't it, on a huge scale. But I think there's potential there for us, definitely to win the league. But the big one, the one that we really want, is we want to fucking overtake Liverpool for that 5, don't we? If we're on 22, 23, 24 and 6, fuck off, you Scouse bastards. Have some of that. It's not even in doubt then, is it? Let's find them. Gone all the way to the top now. Oh, there's absolutely shitloads to get through. I'm going to have to start being quicker. 10 minutes in, I've only done, honestly, 10% of what we've got to do. Fuck no. Stephen, wanted to ask you, how do I think Blind and Matter are now staying? My name's pronounced Demis Irwin. There you go. Demis Irwin. Yeah, I think they might stay. Wouldn't be shocked to see Matter moved on. Blind, I think, his versatility and intelligence with the ball at his feet. He can play midfield, he can play defence. Don't like him as a fullback, but he can play in either of those positions. Happy days, I reckon. You'll have to try and get through these a little bit more. How many questions are you answering? What sort of fucking questions is that? Alex M94. Who do you want to see United get as a manager when Mourinho inevitably leaves in 3 years' time? The best manager in the world right now is Diego Simeone. Beyond that, don't know. I think Pep and Jose, if one of them wins the league this year, has got a fucking big claim to being called the best manager in the league. But that's 9-10 months away, isn't it? So for now, Diego Simeone is the best in the world for me right now. The only other one I wanted was Ancelotti, but I'm not sure how old Ancelotti is now. I think he's pushing it a little bit, so he might be a bit too old. So Simeone for me at the moment, especially if he continues the trajectory with Atletico, and if he does, why would he want to leave? So we shall see. But I hope someone's being put. I hope something's being put in place where we're assessing managers, and maybe like soft approaching managers. Maybe it's Pochettino. Maybe he continues development at Spurs. There's bright managers out there. They're not all Argentinian either. If you could have one player from the treble winning side in today's team, who would it be? Fuck, what a question. My initial gut reaction is to say Beckham, because Beckham was the best player in the world in '99, and I can go into a video on that in depth if you want to explain why he was the best player in the world. I'll leave you with this though. It boils down to what impact does an individual player have on a game, and the bigger the game, the bigger the player has to be to have an impact on that game, and then it's about consistency. That's where you measure a great player. It's impact and consistency, and if you're consistently having impact, then you're a fucking great player. David Beckham put the crosses in for both the goals in the final. You might remember Ryan Giggs' goal in the semi-final, but Beckham scored a world-class one in the first leg in the FA Cup, the Turin game. You might remember Roy Keane's performance, but who put the cross in? That Roy Keane headed home. Who put the cross in for the Andy Cole ball? Who scored the free kick against Barcelona? Who scored fucking countless free kicks throughout the season? 34 assists. The Inter Milan game, the quarter-final at home, the 2 crosses that he put on a sixpence for Dwight York to head home. So you're thinking of all the other bit part players that there was in the United squad at the time. David Beckham was the masterpiece that made it all happen for me. For me, anyway. There's debate open for that. David Beckham's my initial one, but the longer I think about it, the more I think this team needs a Yap Stam. This team also needs a Roy Keane. I don't know. That fucking 99 team was amazing, wasn't it? Once in a lifetime side, I imagine. Although my granddad will tell me otherwise. Jack Walker 99 says, what's the worst defeat you have had, United have had in the past 10 years? Not scoreline, but feeling, meaning. The 6-1 with City. Despite the fact that we had 6 shots and they only had 7 shots, that's the fine margins that games come down to. And when, who was it got sent off? Was it Johnny Evans got sent off or Fletcher? No, Fletcher scored, then Johnny Evans got sent off. When he was sent off, it was an even game. It was a very even game. It was just after that, all their shots went in and you're like, fucking hell, one of them days. That was a low point as a United fan. Also, when we drew the league with City, and they celebrated like they won it, that felt low as well, because you want the good guys to win, don't you? You don't want to see people buying stuff like that, coming in and buying it. And people say, United fucking spending money, we're going to spend 100 million on Pogba this year. That's money that we've earned by the success and the growth of a football club organically. It's not some lottery winner's wet dream. It's not some oil barons plaything where they just come in and change the game because they have money. What a City. City are fucking Wigan Athletic with a better postcode. City could have been Everton. City could have been Newcastle. In fact, if I was Sheikh Mansour, I would have fucking bought Newcastle. Got a bigger fan base. And that's not a dig. That's just a fact. Why didn't he buy one of the London clubs? We've seen the London clubs look attractive. Like, I don't know if it was because of how cheap City was. The way City fans just bent over and puckered up for Frank Sinatra and then for these lot. And I hold my hands up and say, them fucking Sheikhs are running the club really well. But City have fucking bribed their way to the top table. They've not earned their place at the top table. And that didn't feel good. It's pushing Manchester to be the hotbed of football. And it's great for everything around the city, the building, the hotels and everything like that in the city. There's a great vibe about Manchester and there's a great football vibe about the city, which there always has been. But it's about time that this city was a significant on the map. More people watch the Manchester Derby by multitudes than watch the Super Bowl. It was the biggest watched game in football like 3 years ago. Can you imagine what it's going to be like this year? Off the fucking scale. Also, Arsenal away last year when we lost 3-0, that was pretty fucking gutting as well. Should we be scared of Chelsea's midfield with Matic, Kante on the defensive and the likes of Fabregas, Ozil, Hazard, William advancing? Yes, we should. I've been saying, I think Chelsea are going to split us and City. I think City come third, Chelsea come second and we win it, but I think it'll be very, 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 very close. I think Conte is an excellent manager. I think Kante is an excellent signing. And they was champions like, 12 months ago. So there's a lot to be not scared of, but there's a lot to be wary of with Chelsea, I think. Yazin Funanche. Funukane? Why is Memphis so bad at football? That's a bit unfair, mate. I don't think he had a great season last season. I don't think that is how you're going to see him for the rest of his career. I really don't. Alexander with a Spanish flag. Do you think Fosu Mensah will be a part of Mourinho's plans? I'm hearing he's allowed to go out on loan. I wish he was, though. No Favours says, what do I make of the Bastian situation? Already covered it. Sorry, mate. We need to get through everyone's here. MMA question. Awesome. What's your take on the new updated rules implemented regarding the scoring system criteria? A load of changes should have been made a good while ago, in my opinion. I agree. The scoring situation one, I think has been sort of been implemented already. You've been seeing a lot more 10-8s awarded. And I think taking the method from boxing in the first place wasn't a great idea, because one of the things that they have implemented is time on top, time controlling. And that's a massive thing, because if I take you down in the first seconds of a fight, of a round, and I keep you there, whether or not I'm putting much damage on you, I'm dictating what's going on. I'm in command of the fight, and there's fuck all you can do. Then I should be winning that fight, and I can see the arguments for that being a 10-8 fight. I like Rogan's idea of a half-point system, but in reality, an 8-point more 10-8s is going to have the same effect regardless. So you don't need the half point. But there are so many times where you see someone like win the first 2 rounds by this much, but then get clocked with something in the third, and then get utterly destroyed and be like, someone tries 3 different submission attempts and they go this close to fight, and you're like, referee's got to stop it, and he doesn't stop it, and you're like, fucking hell. And that should score better than just because you won 2 rounds. The end of the fight, you're getting your fucking face caved in. The referee's having to almost save you, or you were saved by the bell. That should count more. After 15 minutes of you both doing your thing, if I'm on top of you at the very end, that should always count more for me. There's other rule changes that have been implemented, but I haven't read through all of them in detail yet. So that's the only one, and luckily that was one you asked about, that I do know about a little bit. So it is a long time coming, and it is a good thing that it has been amended. I was going to say fixed, but I think amended is the word. There's still a long way to go, I think, but MMA judging's hard, and it's so... no one can, everyone's human, and you can only call what you see. And if I favour maybe a Muay Thai style, I might favour someone elbowing or a nice leg kicks. If you're a wrestler, you might be like, fucking kept him down for the whole round. And whatever background people are in, they're going to favour that, and that's just human nature. But what I will say is, I've looked into doing an MMA judging course because I think it makes me a better analyst, and the amount of stuff that you have to know is huge. I mean, knowing it and implementing it, but I'm thinking it's probably like purple belt level in terms of the ground game that you've got to know. You've got to know every different type of strike, you've got to go every different type of hold, you've got to know what different positions mean, so you know when someone's in danger and when someone's not in danger. This isn't the Cecil People days. That's the course that John McCarthy runs as well. Big John McCarthy runs a course. And if you look at the criteria to pass the course, it's fucking brutal, and it should be, and I'm glad. Next one, J Jones, triple O. Who am I expecting at right back? Damien, pay attention. Oh, we're only on 5%. This might not see the way through it. Thoughts on Eric Bailly so far? Jury's out. It's early doors yet. It's probably got a lot of settling in to do. After 4 signings have been completed, do you think Mourinho will go in for more players, and if so, who? There was talk of Gabriel Jesus or Lozano coming in after the Olympics. I think there's a very good chance, obviously, with Jesus coming to City, that Lozano could be in. The guy from his club in Mexico said as much, actually, that there's a good chance he'll be coming in. I'm going to try and get this under 30 minutes if I can. Lulu T says, what are my thoughts on Regan Poole? I haven't been blown away by him. He looks neat and tidy. He didn't play a great deal last season, and I'm not sure the reasons why. So hopefully he'll play more this season, and then we can have a better opinion on him. Gabriel says, Cesare is to Manchester on a free transfer, better than Jones in my opinion. There's centre-halves at the club, young guns that are better than Phil Jones. I would rather see them given the chance. Tuanzebe probably at the front of that queue at the moment. Got a feeling we'll never see Pereira properly playing a United shirt. Could letting him go be another Pogba situation. We can't think of everything as being a Pogba situation, although it does get brought up a massive amount of time. Pereira's incredibly talented, but he had a problem with not working hard enough when he first got into the under-21s. And at the moment in the under-21s, he looks bored because he's that much better than everyone else. It's hard to break into the team when the chances are limited in the sort of positions that he plays. And he's got the likes of the club captain and £37 million signing matter in front of him in that sort of position. And Mkhitaryan arguably as well. He's going to struggle to get opportunities. I think alone would probably do him good at the moment, because playing under 21 football does him no good whatsoever. Is Wenger the biggest con man in football, and why does he still have a job? On one hand, it's good to see someone not getting like knee-jerk sacked all the time, because I don't think sacking people all the time works. I think you do need a little bit of longevity, but it's been clear for fucking years now that Arsene Wenger's system and plan doesn't work, and they definitely need to freshen up, and no one could argue that they don't. His refusal to sign certain types of players alone would make me want to pull my fucking hair out. It's no wonder Arsenal fans are so crazy on Twitter. TJ says, at this point, how many years do you think it'll take till... Oh, I've already answered that. There you go. Sorry, pal. Luke, do you see Rashford and Shaw being the cornerstones of the first team potentially for the next 10 years? Sort of already covered that one as well. I think people got to relax a little bit on Rashford. Don't expect him to be playing all the time this season. I think he's more of an impact sub. As long as he gets games and he develops, happy days. And we'll see what happens. But, oh shit, who was I talking about yesterday? Who was we talking about yesterday? It wasn't Makeda. Fuck, who was it? This is going to do my head in. There was a young player that we had break in, look amazing for a couple of years. Might have been Anderson. Was it Anderson? Anderson looked amazing, didn't it? Either way, it fits for Anderson, so let's fucking say it was Anderson. Anderson looked amazing in his early couple of years and then just faded off. You don't know what happens to players as they develop. You've got to be incredibly fortunate for someone to break through and maintain that sort of trajectory. That's why the likes of the class of 92 was so amazing, that they've all broke through and they all sort of just managed to hit that peak and that stride really easily. Jay Lomax, what will Pogba bring to United? Stay tuned on that one because I've got a full video which breaks down every single one of his attributes and why he's at the moment being a little bit underrated, and it's only since United was interested. Kaleem D says, if United need to stand a striker, who would you want it to be? If we could, it would be Lewandowski. I love that motherfucker. Aside from him, Suarez is fantastic, but I never want to see him anywhere near a United shirt. Jadon really rates Dybala. Not sure I'm that convinced myself. Lewandowski, Lukaku. And people hating a little bit on Lukaku just because his team didn't do great. Don't mean the player's shit. The amount of goals he scored at his age, ridiculous. M. Cullen 1966. Other than Marshall, who of the outfield players are world class bound given if they are used properly? Shaw is an easy one. I'm assuming you mean the young ones because I think Mkhitaryan could potentially be world class. At the moment, Shaw's the only one that stands out really. I mean, I think Fosu Mensah can, but I'm not sure he's going to get his opportunity this season. Rogers 1875 says Pogba coming back looks like being £100 million bargain in my eyes. Over what we can get out of him, and mad typing that. What price do you see as a bargain for a player nowadays? Mkhitaryan was an absolute bargain, and you said that yourself there. It's a steal. Mkhitaryan is a bargain of a player, and there are bargains to be picked up, but I don't know. I don't know whether bargains are a great thing. It's nice, isn't it, when you pick up a bargain? Solskjaer was a bargain, Cantona was a bargain. Spending on a transfer doesn't mean it's going to be a success or a failure. I don't know if it adds any more pressure or less pressure. There's definitely bargains, and there's bargains to be had by scouting in the right places. But I think when Man United call, they pull the fucking red book out, don't they, and be like, oh, here's the price. I think if, maybe not now, but I think last season, if Leicester call up, you get one price, Manchester United get a different price. It's the nature of the world. Sam FGM says, seems like Pogba coming back to United, but which other academy players we've let go or sold would you take back? PK is the obvious answer. Yes, you're right. PK is the obvious answer. But he was never going to get a chance over Rio and Vidic, correct? And there was also, at the time, Johnny Evans was very highly rated as well, and I think we went on the choice of, look, this kid's from the Catalan region, there's every chance he's going to want to return at some point anyway. Let's put our eggs into the Johnny Evans basket and hope that he develops. We was wrong, but I can see the logic in doing it. There's some funny stories about PK when he was at United, in terms of like he was like absolutely fucking tapped and didn't speak a word of English. Rossi was the one that I thought I was fucking devoed about. I thought he was absolute class. Miss Rossi. Seb, what players would you like to leave United and what players would you like to join? There's a few I'd like to join. The likes of Phil Jones, I think time's up on those. Joe says, with an old tango and some dirty socks, would you prefer Rooney or Mata at 10, and what do they offer us individually? Whew. That's a long answer, that. I'm going to pass on that one, mate, because there's a lot to that, and we're already at 27.5 minutes. In fact, we're at longer, aren't we, because this is part 2 of it, so I'm probably already over 30 minutes. Chahal says, City or United, who's done a better business so far? Sort of stupid question is that. Adam Cunt says, Rashford likely to be like this guy minus all the injuries. What a shout. Luis Aha. What an absolute shout. What an underrated footballer Louis Saha is. When I spoke to Mick Clegg, was the strength and conditioning coach at United for 9 years, I think. He did an article which was spun into a headline, which he didn't actually quite say. He sort of implied but didn't say, which was that Rooney could have been world class except for he didn't apply himself in the same ways Ronaldo did, because Ronaldo, possibly because of the vanity, but possibly because he just loved it, was obsessed with training and trying to get better. Rooney did the minimum and fucked off. And he said if Rooney had the same attitude as Ronaldo, he would have undoubtedly been the best in the world. This is a guy that's worked with him closely. When you go into his lab, he's got one wall which is just entirely covered of United shirts, all signed like to make this, that and the other. Tyler Blackett was training there actually, on top of what he was doing at United, which is why I like Tyler, because he's putting the graft in over and above what he's supposed to be doing. That's why Tyler's a top lad. But anyway, the wall when you go in there in mix, there's a Louis Saha one, and I mentioned what was in there, so I fucking loved Louis Saha. And then Mick just went on like a fucking love letter to him. He's a fan, let's say that. Mick's a fan. And I think people who've worked with him are a fan as well. And it's not down to attitude with Louis Saha. He just could not get himself over the injuries, which is such a shame because he was fucking brilliant. Matthew King 34 says, if you could have 3 players back in United in their prime, who would they be and why? Fucking hell. Original. It's the same as the one we had before. From any player in their prime, I think you go beyond the 99 team. Eric Cantona gets pulled in all the time. I'd love to have seen what could have happened with Duncan Edwards. And the way people talk about him, Bobby Charlton. Outside of that, I want to see Roy Keane back. Roy Keane, criminally underrated. Probably the best player in England, at least, if not one of the best in Europe. Never got that accolade. An absolute force of nature from about 2000, 2001, 2002, and then injuries fucking done him in, didn't they? Matt Wrighty9 says, who's the 3rd best player in the world? I don't think it's Suarez or Neymar. I think that's lazy when people just throw that around. I don't know. I think you have to take a few things into account. I was looking at the goal impact rating yesterday, and I was surprised. For starters, I was surprised at how low Pogba's was. But I was also surprised that they had a historical goal impact rating, and what Di Stefano's was fucking 200 and something. It was off the charts. Original Ronaldo's wasn't a fucking great goal impact rating, which I was shocked at. There's some players that in the modern game that have got phenomenal goal impact rating, and Messi's one of them, obviously. Ronaldo's one of them. I don't know who the 3rd one was, though. Hell of a question. Let me get back to you. Might warrant its own video answer. Elish RC. Thoughts on Angel Gomez? Oh, man. I could wax on about that kid all day long. Pivotal year for him. First year as a proper under-18. He's only 15 still, but he's 16 in this month, end of this month. Big year for him. If he can have a standout year as a 15 going on 16-year-old in his first year at under-18s, then hold on to your hats, because it's about to get fucking interesting, isn't it? Mark N7 says, Leicester's predicted finish. Without Kante, they got a problem. If Mahrez goes as well, they've got a fucking massive problem. And the momentum of last season could carry them quite far into this season, because the confidence that they'll have of wearing those gold patches and being champions. But I think ultimately this is where the wheels do some point fall off, because the quality that they're going to lose in Kante and Mahrez, they won't replace. They got extremely lucky with their scouting. I'm sure they've got a wonderful scout network. They've clearly got a wonderful scout network, but those gems don't come up all the time, no matter how good you are. So I think whatever they replace him with will be of inferior quality, and they're going to struggle. And we're way past 30. Let's keep it under 40 if we can. Who's a good replacement for Mourinho? I don't know. Let's hope it's someone good. Best Wayne Rooney memory. I think what summed Rooney up the best was probably one of the counter-attacking goals in the 2008 season when we won the Champions League. When he was probably played left forward or right forward, and he would be facilitating somebody else scoring. That epitomises Wayne Rooney more than anything. I loved his goal against Newcastle, that angry Rooney. That probably epitomises him more than than anything else. But my favourite, when I think of Rooney, I see him leading a counter attack 6-7 years ago. That's Wayne Rooney to me. Shahimic, who's the best player I've seen live, and what's the best goal I've seen live? Best goal. Fucking hell, I've seen a lot of goals. The best player I've seen live, I think. I mean, there's a few. Roy Keane's got to be up there. Zidane's got to be up there. Original Ronaldo when he blew United away in 2003. I've never seen United crowd give an ovation to someone who's just scored a fucking hat-trick against us. That was surreal. And he was magic. And he wasn't. He was past it then, arguably. And he fucking ruined us that night. The Inter Milan vintage original Ronaldo was something else. The Real Madrid one was a few pound overweight and on the downslope of his career. The best goal I've seen live. My favourite goal is the Paul Scholes one. If you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know the reasons behind that and how long it took me to get to Old Trafford for that. But technically the best, shit. I don't know. I've seen a lot of goals. Hard to pick out a best goal. Can't think. Sorry, can't think. Sami Chowdhury. How did Full-Time Devils start, and how do I know did I know Sami? I didn't know any of them before Full-Time Devils started. No, I run UFC Latest, and I just kept getting asked to share the videos for Full-Time Devils, so I did. And then after sharing them, I mean, this is something that people don't get in the blogging world as well. That people think that there's people have got a scarcity mentality, whereas there's enough screens for everyone. Share everyone's stuff. You know, there's plenty of fucking screens to go around, isn't there? You only have to look at the success the Sidemen have had by sharing each other's stuff. They're all fucking huge for doing it. That's how I believe in stuff. I believe in you fucking share each other's stuff and you fucking get on with people and you go far in life by doing that. The guy that was asking me was a guy called Johnny who no longer works for Full-Time Devils. And he just kept asking me to come and do a preview, come and do a fan cam and stuff like that, and I did, and from there I just kept getting more and more involved in the channel. I don't know how it started. I never asked either, actually. McCullough wasn't there at the very start, I don't think, but he's been there longest out of all of the ones that's on there now, I think. And no, I didn't know any of them beforehand, and I'd consider them good mates now, though. Spent a lot of fucking time together. Me and Gaz will be driving down to Wembley Sunday together. It's a fucking long drive. Can't be done if you don't like the guy. Oh no. Well, that seems like a fucking good excuse as any, doesn't it, to end it right there. Not a bad question to end it on either, I don't think. Thank you for everyone who sent one in. If you've sent one in and I've not answered it, do you know what? I might do a podcast, because I think that these might go well on a podcast, especially with the length of time that's coming on these. These are potentially too fucking much for a YouTube video, aren't they? I don't know. This is for you guys, so you let me know what you reckon. Do you want to see them on a YouTube video? Would you prefer them as an audio podcast? Do you like me fucking showing you your own snaps on video? You guys tell me what you think, and I'll roll with whatever the majority says. This is probably going to take ages to process now, so this might come out around about midnight Friday, 1 o'clock in the morning Saturday. Am I doing a video tomorrow? Might do a video tomorrow. I might not do a video tomorrow. I don't know. I might play Jaden as a Charity Shield predictor sort of game. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, thank you for tuning in as usual. Let's get some discussion going in the comments. We've got a forum on MUFC Latest. I always get them mixed up. We've got a forum on MUFC Latest. Do you guys want to use the forum? Do you guys want to use a Reddit? Should we make a subreddit maybe? Is there anywhere that you guys would want some more discussion? Because it's really hard to follow threads of discussion, and I think we could have some real good conversation if we had threads of discussion. Forums are great for that. Reddit's great for that. YouTube, not so fucking great for that. I like to get involved in like big writing with stuff. Oh, and please check out the Full Time Devils website. We've been working on that all summer long. Let us know what you think. It's different, especially if you go and visit on a match day during the match. There's some funky stuff goes on in the match day feeds. Check it out. Let us know what you think. Yeah, and talk to me about what you want to do in terms of discussions and what you want to do in terms of making these Q&As podcasting, where I definitely think they could work. Or if you want to make them a video, because the length of these videos now, they're a fucking nightmare for me to upload. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sending anything in. I'll see you over the weekend, undoubtedly. See you in a bit.